Hello there, everyone. My name is Crazy Caleb, and welcome to Anomia. So this is the way the module looks. We have a series of 4 different cards, and let me stop myself real quick. This module is going to require a lot of the modded module game knowledge. Now, it's not sort of knowing how different modules work. It's simply knowing the names and the module icons associated with each of them. So, for example, all of these modules have icons made by Banananas2. Thank you very much for that, by the way. So, for example, we have each of the different icons. They're going to be popping up on these little 4 2x2 squares here. And what's going to happen is that we need to essentially identify the name of each of these modules icons because of the fact that this is going to be solely based around the names of the modules. So, before you continue watching this tutorial, I would advise you, number one, if you don't know much of this game, and if you don't know much of the modded game, I would advise you to sort of get a better idea of what modules look like and how they work. And just work with them, obviously, but how they especially look. The key factor is how the modules look, because this module is going to be solely based around that, and knowing the names, of course, and the correct spellings is going to be very, very important, too. But, so just, if you don't know much of the game, turn around, get off of this tutorial and just don't watch this for quite some time until you feel a little bit more comfortable and you have an idea of how this game works and how many these modules look. However, if you are comfortable, totally fine. Welcome to the tutorial, and let's get right into this. So this module, as I said from beforehand, is going to require you know the names of different types of modules. So we're going to have a series of different clues, as you can see, based off of these 4 clues around the center, and there is the possibility of there being more than one more clues later on. So we have ends in letters from A through M. There's also a possibility of starting letters A through M. Contains fewer than 8 letters. There is also the possibility of there being contains more than X amount of letters, which can usually be 10, I believe. There is starts with a vowel and ends with a vowel, and we have the starts with letter A through M. There is also the possibility of there being a specific letter, mainly ends with a vowel, ends with an S potentially. And so on and so forth. There's one more that I'm trying to think of. There is no spaces, or there is at least one space. That's pretty much most of the clues covered. But most of them are pretty straightforward with what it asks you to do, and are pretty easy to understand. However, this module is not really all about understanding what the clues mean. It's understanding how to do this quick and efficiently, as this module will really put you on the clock, and I'll explain that later. So how exactly does this module work? Well, let's get right into this. So taking a look here, I press the arrow to begin the module, and we have a series of 4 different module icons. Now, that card flipped over, meaning that this is the card that we're currently on, as you can tell by the blue background here. So the border essentially highlights to a blue color. That means that this is the card that you're currently on, and this is the card that you're playing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go round and round. It will always go in a clockwise fashion, and we're essentially going to be trying to play each player 3 times. It's gone 3 times. That is when the module will solve. And essentially what's going to happen is we need to resolve a series of things called matches. So if a symbol on the card matches the symbol of any other card on the board, a match against that card begins. Otherwise, the arrow button can be pressed and proceed to the next player. In this case, we can proceed to the next player. However, I want to give you some sort of examples of how this module works. So, taking a look here, as we can see, none of these symbols match. That's going to be the top part of each of these cards, and that's going to be what we're going to do. So how exactly do matches work? When a match is entered, the active player is always versing the opponent. So currently the active player, if there was a match, would be the top player here. However, there is another exception to that, which I'll explain in a minute. And to resolve the match, we're going to press a button whose module fits within the category on the opponent's card. So for example, let's take this one. So let's say if we had a diamond up in the top here and a diamond on the right. So we'd be going up against the right one because of the fact that we're currently the highlighted one and they both have the exact same symbol at the top, for example. So we take a look at the opponent's card and its category, and it contains fewer than 8 letters. Let's take a look and see if any of these actually contain that, because I don't think they actually do. So alphabets, it doesn't. So none of these actually do. That would be the shortest one. But say if we had, for example, something like Paduki on the module. In this case, if we had that present on one of these module icons, that would be true to this clue, as it only contains 6 letters. So we would select that one, for example. and then that would be the end of that match. However, there is also the possibility of each match giving a new card. It will always discard one of the cards, and potentially giving a new symbol, which can actually start a new match. So keep that in mind. Now, this is what I mean by this module being tricky in its own way, shape, or form. This must be done within 10 seconds of a match initiating, and when 3 seconds are remaining, a warning tone will play. You'll hear that in more than one circumstance, trust me. And after 10 seconds without an input, the module will strike. Keep in mind this actually might happen because of the way that I'm explaining this tutorial. If it does, don't worry about it. I will do this. I will do one of these modules normally. Normally the way that I do it later on. It actually will be one of these two examples back here. So let's take a look. And when a match is won by a player, the opponent's card is discarded, revealing a new card beneath it. And if this card symbol matches another card symbol, another match can be prompted. So for example, let's say if I happen to I won this first round, the opponent's card was this one on the right over here. What happens if it was to become one of these guys over here? Since it's not the active player, as it's not the blue tile over here, what would happen from this point on? If this card symbol matches another card symbol, another match can be prompted, which would make sense. And if this match does not involve the highlighted player, the diffuser serves as the player closest clockwise from the blue screen. So for example, if we were to say that we got like this sort of little grid module icon on both of these symbols on the left and right. What we would do is we would go clockwise from this point because it's not the highlighted player. We'd go clockwise, and this would be our player right here. So we would be playing as the right against the left. We take a look at the left's clue, and it would start with a letter from A through M. Now, immediately taking a look, we have quite a few cases. We have factoring maze, we have factoring maze, color generator, and alphabets. Either one of those could work. Obviously, I think that in most cases, it tends to be only one clue applies. But in this example, I'm just messing around with it, and I'm just giving you some examples of how this module works. But you want to use the one that is clockwise, the earliest clockwise from you, from the blue screen. So keep that in mind. And when the diffuser loses a match, the player's card is discarded, which may prompt another match. That is a very rare case, but keep that in mind that if you happen to strike, the module still can keep going with matches, which means that you have to continue keeping on the clock if you happen to strike at all. And then once all matches have been resolved, the arrow button can be pressed to proceed to the next player. So let's actually get into this module and let's see if we can do an example. So taking a look here, we currently have no matches. All of these guys are different. So let's go to the next one. Nothing here. Nothing here. That's nice. And just like that, we're into a match. So we're currently playing as the left, and our opponent is the down. So we need to take a look at has at least one space. Black arrows. That's good. Okay, here we go. So we're going to go clockwise to the right one, and we're currently going to be facing against the down one. Has at least one space. Infinite loops. Okay, we're currently playing as the left one. We're going to be facing the down one. Contains more than 10 letters. Binary grid broken karaoke. And just like that, that is done. So what happened was that we had a similar symbol on the left and down. We solved that match. Then we had a similar symbol on the right and down. We solved that match, and then we had a similar symbol on the left and down. We had solved that match. And now all matches have been resolved. So hopefully that makes sense. And for the right and down match, I had two symbols that matched on the right and down positions. We had to go clockwise to the closest one, which was going to be the one on the right. And our opponent was the one that was facing down, so we followed that clue for that category. So that's what we're going to be doing with this module. And it can get sometimes nasty. I have had, I think, a four match example, which was 4 matches back to back to back. And this is why knowing the names of different module icons is going to be so important, because of the fact that there are different clues that can happen. It does not contain an E, ends with the letter S, ends with a vowel, so on and so forth. That's why knowing the module names is going to be so important. So let's get into the next example here. So let's see if we can get another one. Of course, as long as we get as few matches as possible, that's when it's really nice. All right, nothing yet. Nothing yet. Beautiful. Nothing yet. Lovely. Nothing. Okay, so now we're into a match. We need to take a look at the opponent's card, which ends with a vowel. Big circle ends with a vowel. And we're good to go. All right, moving around. Okay, we need to take a look at the opponent's card, which is going to be containing fewer than 8 letters. Equations, I believe. I guess not. I guess I can't count letters. It's 9. Dang it. Okay, I was close. I believe it was web design that we could use. No, we couldn't have used web design. I can't remember the other ones. So that's why that sort of speed element is very important to keep track of, especially with later examples. Um, so I'm gonna when I do my final example, I'm not even gonna read out module names. I will simply be just doing the module as I normally do, as quick as I can. But for this example, I will simply be just reading out module names and trying my best. So bear with me on that. And I believe this will be the last one that we have to play. And just like that, the module is solved. All the cards flip over, and just like that, we have done the module. Now, for the most part, I don't actually really tend to keep track of the module, like going around the table however many times. I just tend to stay focused and focus on making sure that the symbols don't match, and if they do match, we enter into a match. So let's take a look at another example. And I'm going to go through this one a little bit faster, but I'm still going to do something similar to what I did beforehand. So I don't know why the heck this bomb is acting so weird with these module icons. So let's take a look. So we start at the top, no matching symbols yet. Next, next, next. Matching symbols. So we're going to take a look at the opponent. Contains fewer than 8 letters. Logic, definitely. Does not contain an E. Pandemonium, spinning buttons. Spinning buttons does not contain an E. And of course, we actually got it really unfortunate. Now keep in mind that if the lights go out, obviously, the letters are simply gone. So keep that in mind. And I would advise you to wait, for example, if the lights go out on a bomb, wait for them to go out and then simply proceed with the module. But we got lucky that I remembered the clue, and we were able to not have any more matches afterwards. So that's really nice. So let's keep going. A plus, okay. Ends with the letter S. Combination lock, multiple trading card. Okay, that's good. Contains more than 10 letters. Discolor flash, I believe, does. Yep. And just like that, we're done with all matches. Perfect. So let's take a look. Let's keep going. Okay, ends with the letter S as our opponent. Bridges. Okay, let's continue on. Okay, starts with a vowel. Organization. Hello, Exish. How you doing? All right, let's continue moving around. I believe we need to do just simply one more loop. Nothing. 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 Lovely. And just like that is a solved module. Let's take a look at our last example, and I'm going to simply do this one on my own. Hopefully you guys can follow, and I will be speaking aloud, of course, because I always do that. But let's take a look. So we're going to take a look here. Nothing yet. Okay. Contains more than 10 letters. That's mystery module. That's good. All right. Continue moving on. Okay. Does not contain an E. Souvenir, candy, land does not contain an E. Beautiful. Okay. We're currently playing at the top. Has no spaces. Polygrid. Polygrid, woozy face. All right, let's move on. Okay, starts with a vowel. Mind Seeker, Ultra Source. Ultra Source starts with a U. Next up, let's continue going. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Okay. Starts with a letter from A through M. Cruel Candyland. That's good. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Nothing. Nothing. And nothing. And just like that is a solved module. As always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to stay crazy, stay cool, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.